Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Feature Fridays. Today is a very special day because we are going to be getting a sneak peek at a brand new feature. My name is
What?
Garrett. What?
I didn't authorize this.
No, what?
What?
That's it, you're fired. Hello. My name was Garrett. I'm fired now. I'm leaving. Joining me today is Jackie Kwan, the co-founder of Uplifter, and she is also going to be our presenter today because she's got all the high-level access. So, Jackie, how you doing?
I'm doing well. It is a beautiful spring day out today.
It is gorgeous out today. I was going to say I didn't want to put it in anyone's face who's got some rain out today,
Yeah,
but
the
it's
the
beautiful here.
the sun is shining. The birds are chirping.
I
I
can't.
just want to go outside, Garrett.
Well, you're not allowed
Darn. Oh, that's okay. We'll be here together in isolation.
in isolation.
Welcome everybody to Feature Friday. Did you tell them what we're sneak peeking, or should I just?
I didn't want to. I didn't want to give it away. I want to get the build the anticipation.
I
Yeah.
see. I see. Okay. So we are sneak peeking today a release that we're going to be putting out in uh, sometime in May, probably in the next week or two. We're just doing the final usability testing and QA testing on this feature. But it was close enough that I really want to share it with you, and it's mostly because I'm just very excited about features. I love launching new features, and I love sharing them with our clubs and our administrators. So I just wanted to do a little bit of a show and tell of it. So to show this feature today, I am on our demo gymnastics site. So, and the feature that we are going to be showing is a new revamp of our program manager page or our program view page to allow you to manage your programs. So the first thing that I'm going to show you is, and this feature actually is tied into a whole lump of different elements that we're launching very shortly. The first thing that you're going to notice is on your dashboard, and it's a very subtle change, but on your dashboard as you're actually navigating through to your programs. Garrett, have you tried this yet? Did you try it?
I have
Do you
not. I don't know what you're about to do.
you don't know?
No,
There's all this stuff that we're doing. I don't even. It's
going
like
in
a little
blind.
surprise.
Yeah.
A little surprise. By the way, you have to do the presentation now. What do you
Oh,
think I'm
right.
going to do?
Yeah, I think you're going to click that one.
I'm going to click this one, and in the dashboard calendar, you're going to now see two additional options, and that is both to manage your program or to edit your program. So these are menu items that typically you would get to from the program manager page, but now, right now, directly from the calendar, let's say you're tweaking your season calendar and you're trying to figure things out, you can now click on this and you can actually edit the program directly from your dashboard, because we're giving you a whole ton of more powerful tools to really optimize how you're going to manage your class capacities.
Hey,
So
Jackie.
what, Garrett?
Are those permission based, so you can restrict who has access to those buttons?
Yes, it would be exactly the same as if you have access to the program manager. So
Yeah.
same
Okay.
same same thing. So I thought you were going to say, "Hey, Jackie, what's that thing you're hovering over?"
Oh, sorry. I didn't. I lost my script. Yeah. One second.
Oh, oh.
Hey, Jackie.
You're not even looking at my screen, are you? You're not even. You've got like another YouTube. You've got
Yeah.
Game of Thrones reruns in the background,
Playing
don't you?
Angry Birds. I'm just busy.
Okay, okay, fine. Be that way. I'll do this myself. So, so what I'm hovering over here is one of the features that we're launching as part of this big revamp, and that is enable drop-ins. So we are going to be adding drop-in capacities into Uplifter with this new feature launch over the next week or so. So here, you'll be able to take any program that you actually have right now. You can specify a drop-in event price, and you can allow people to drop into single events at a time as part of registration. Now, I know a lot of clubs are probably thinking, drop-in is available with so many other software products and all the rest. Like, why is this such a big deal? And why couldn't have this been added earlier? Well, one of the things that we really, really wanted to do as part of our drop-in management was really to properly handle capacities. Um, I'm trying to type women's and capacities at the same time. So was really to manage capacities properly, because we know that this is going to be very important, and especially now given where we're at with COVID and probably a lot of the restrictions that are going to be placed on our clubs in future, where it's going to be important that you manage your caps very carefully in order to comply with any of the lifting of the restrictions of how many people you can actually have in your facility in a single class at any given time. So the great thing about the new drop-in feature that we're actually going to be launching here with Uplifter is that the drop-in capacity is actually going to be managed within the full capacity of your class. So for example, if you decide, I'm going to set up a class and I'm going to allow 20 people to come into it, but I also want to allow people to drop in to fill up those spots if I don't fill up everything, you don't have to say, well, I'd like to make 5 drop-in spots and add that on top of your existing capacity. Instead, what Uplifter is going to do is it's going to say, you have 20 spots, and with those 20 spots, you're going to allow drop-in, and if there is space available, we're going to let people drop in and fill those spots as they are available. You can limit the number of drop-in spots if you would like, or you can use it to really maximize capacity for any given program, and then as well maximize your revenues for any of those given programs. This is going to be great for any club that's running a summer camp and you want to be able to allow people to drop in on a single day here and there. Again, probably very important if we have a few loosenings of the restrictions that are going to occur with the passing of the peak of COVID-19. I know that clubs are really going to want to maximize the number of people that actually do use their facilities and the services that they have. So, but the drop-in, will be doing other videos shortly in future when we do launch the feature. But in order to prepare for that, I did want to show you how this is going to actually affect some of the other elements, the core elements of Uplifter that you use. So the first thing that you might notice here is we have here our program manager. And you'll see now that we now have this new menu item here called spots available. So not only are you going to see the number of people that are registered within a particular program and the number of people waitlisted, as we always have, but now you're also going to see this additional number called spots available. And in most of your cases, if you don't have drop-in or if you don't have anybody who has dropped in, this number will basically be the difference between the number of people that you're allowing into the program versus the number of people that have registered. But in the case where you've had some people sign up for a drop-in as part of the class, Uplifter will automatically manage the capacity in the background to tell you, oh, if I've got one person that's dropped in the future here, that spot's going to drop to 1. And if somebody else drops in for a different class but doesn't really affect the overall number that can register for the full program, that number is going to stay at 1. But if somebody does, if you've got a couple of people that take up those 2 spots in drop-in positions, that will use up all the capacity, and Uplifter will use all of that capacity planning for you in real time as you manage your registrations. So here we have our new icon here called drop-in. So you'll see this icon throughout Uplifter when you enable drop-ins on any of your programs. As well, we've added a whole bunch of additional elements with drop-ins in terms of how you tag your subscriptions or your policies and whatnot based on whether or not it's a drop-in or a full program. So let's dive into one of the pages that we've had to basically overhaul from scratch, which is our program management or our program view page. So if you remember previously, this used to just be a very long list of all the people in your classes. So yeah, previously, if you had even more than 15 or 20 participants in a class, this list got a little bit long. And not only that, if you had a lot of different custom fields that you had added, you would see, this long, wide list. So what we've done is we've revamped this to be a little bit more mobile friendly, a little bit more touch friendly, and visualized it so that it's a little bit more easier to work with. So you have, as you always had before, a list where you can actually see all the participants in the whole group. But now we've actually broken up all of the program groups that you can create on the side as tabs. So you can actually work with each group individually within each individual tab. Not only that, but we've added this ungroup tab that was previously at the bottom of the program manager page. And now to move your participants from one group to another, very easy. You'll see your little cursor turn to a grabby hand, and you can very easily drag and drop them to the different tabs of the groups here. So really easy to use, much more friendly, and probably we've actually made a few changes so that it's quite a bit more user-friendly on tablets and mobile devices as well. If you want to create a group, as always, you can just click on the Add button, Let's add Coach Sean as part of this new group. To add coaches to either the full program or the group, you'll see now that instead of adding coaches to the ungrouped participants, you can now add program coaches to the top level. And then as well, you can add coaches to or instructors to the specific groups. So here I'm going to add Sean as my coach here.
Did I see Princess Primo as an option?
I know, right?
That's amazing.
Hey, that wasn't me. I'm pretty sure that was you. Should we let him know? Maybe he's watching now. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
So now that I've created my group, and very easily you'll also be able to see a count of how many people are in your group. So very easy to navigate, very easy to move people around. If you want to take somebody out of a group because you've made a mistake, oh, Gabby's moved up, or we need to sort of shift these groups around, you can certainly move her back to ungrouped, or even move them back and forth between groups. So very easy to navigate and move around, and easy to manipulate and work with your groups. Much easier to identify, your coaches and who's attached to each of the individual groups. As well, what we've done is we've sort of segmented some of the other pieces of information that were on the page previously. So instead of, again, that big long list, we've moved them into tabs across the top. So now we have our waitlisted individuals here, and then as well anybody who's withdrawn. Because Michael Douglas is a boy and he registered for Women's Recreational, so we asked him to register for a different program. So
Michael Douglas, eh?
Michael Douglas always wants to be with the girls. That's just him. So a little bit of a cleaner look. The other thing that you'll probably notice is this new tab here called Requires Invoice, which ties into this little button here on the right-hand side called Add Participant. So previously, you could very easily add people to your wait list. So let's add, let's see, Sandra. No, I don't know Sandra. Let's add Sabian. Oh no, Sabian's, well, let's add Sabian anyways. So Sabian, let's add him to the wait list. Using the waitlist is a great way to possibly manage pre-registration. Even though you know that you have spots, you can add somebody to waitlist. When they log in and go to their account, they'll be immediately asked to register. So that is one way to manage people on the waitlist and pre-register. So now you'll see that Sabian is on our waitlist and the spot is available. As you add people to the waitlist, if spots become available, you'll then see the position on the waitlist that they are on and whether or not they can actually register. You can edit your waitlist time as you have previously. But additionally, what you can also do when you click Add Participant, let's see who else I have here. Isabel Primo. Let's actually register her. So within our silver and gold tier, we're going to allow you as administrators to actually register people within the class without actually creating an invoice right away. We've had clubs mention to us that even though they do need to collect the money for these registrations, you might have somebody who's standing right in front of you, wants to get in the class, and you want to get them in the class, you want to get them on the class list so that your coaches can see that person on the class list as they're taking attendance, but you want to deal with the money part of it while the kid's in class. So you can very easily add the participant as registered. You'll see that in the list here under ungrouped, who was that? Isabel. Isabel was registered, but now her status is registered with no invoice. And it will show you that she had the date at which she was registered for the class, but also tells you that she actually needs to be invoiced. So you can do one of two things. You can either click on the Add to Invoice or create registration invoice here. But as well, we provide you with a list of any of the participants in this class that has been added to the class list but has not yet been registered. So what you can do on a regular basis, if once things sort of die down at the front desk and everybody has gotten into their classes, you can just come in here and very quickly just say, I'm going to go create an invoice for her. So if you click on the Add Invoice, It will take you over to the invoice page, automatically show you the one program that she has been registered for but not yet invoiced for, add her to the invoice and process your invoice very quickly. So it should streamline sort of that process, break it up for you a little bit so that it's easier for you to separate the difference between adding people to your class list, making sure that they're registered, and then as well collecting money for it separately. Let's say that Isabel just sort of tried out the class and by the end of the class realized, you know what, it wasn't for her. You can certainly just delete her from this program list to add her to a different list if you require. So did I miss anything, Garrett? I feel like I've been talking sort of a mile a minute. As per before, you can still export your class lists and your attendance printouts as well on the top. Anything else that I missed, Garrett?
No, I think you've done a wonderful job. It is important to note that, as noted at the beginning of this is all still being worked on. We're in the process of quality assurance and things of that nature and testing. So there may be some small changes to locations of icons or things like that. So be prepared for that. We'll definitely have release notes and all of our documentation will be up to date once this is released. So just take some of these elements with a grain of salt, I suppose.
I love how you call it quality. I love how you call it quality assurance when really what it means is you and I are going to hang up off this call and we're going to argue about where to put these icons. No, I wanted it here. No,
You're not supposed to reveal our secrets.
Oh. I thought we could just webcam it and it'd be like reality television.
Yeah.
You'll also notice on your program list as well, you'll see a couple of new statuses as well, not only the registered no invoice, but you'll also see the registered guest attendance. So for anybody that you might have added to the attendance list on the attendance page just because they've dropped in, you'll see them here as well, so that we still support both methods of if they dropped in, and the coach has just added them to attendance, you can see it here. But if you do intend to actually invoice them and register them, use the program manager page here and click on add your participant to be registered so that you can then invoice them after the fact. So that is a sneak peek of our new program manager page and the new ways that you can actually manage your participants through the registration process, and also to sort of streamline the registration process and break up the registration and the invoicing into two separate parts, which is something that a lot of our club administrators have requested. And yeah, we're very excited to launch this. So when we do launch this, you'll see it in our release notes. You'll definitely see it when you come into Uplifter to try out the new features. You'll see the different menu items, and that will be your cue that these are the new changes that have taken place and they have been released and deployed to your site. So look forward to sharing all of that with you, and we'll have more details on the drop-in feature that we are also releasing as part of this release branch that we're putting together here. So thank you everybody for joining us on this lovely spring May 1st Future Friday. Hey, May the 4th is coming on Monday. What are we gonna, are we gonna dress up on Monday? I mean, did I say that out loud?
I feel like you might. You might dress up. Yeah. You got to come as Obi-Wan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to put my hair in buns.
No, it's a deal breaker. It's got to come as Obi-Wan.
Okay.
Thank you so much for everyone for listening to us ramble, and we really appreciate you joining us today, and we will see you again for next week for another Feature Friday.
Take care. Thanks so much. We'll see you next week.